Happy weekend, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your time with your friends and family. And we're going to start with Bitcoin. And before I go further, please hit the like button if you're liking the content. It only takes 1 second to hit the like. Share this channel with your friends and family. Help me grow this channel. And if you're making money, want to donate, there's a PayPal link in the description. I will really appreciate all your donations. Thank you. Okay, so Bitcoin changed in trend. Okay, what does that mean? Bitcoin just made a new high. You can see previous high was here around 31,100, and yesterday it made a new high around 31,000, let's say 500. So in shorter time frame, it's a change in trend. Okay, so what does that mean? That means Bitcoin was making before it was making a lower highs. You can see here it was making lower highs, lower lows. You can see lower highs, lows, and today is the first time. Yesterday is the first time it made new high. Can it come back to make a lower high? Yeah, it's possible. It can come back to this trend line and then again try to make a new high. And then maybe it's going to go lower. So that's what I'm thinking. So anyhow, so again, this is my projection. I'm not going to be always right, but this will be my ideal scenario. So after this massive pump, you can see what happened. This is daily chart. You can see we still have divergences on PPO. What does that mean? You can see this previous high, it made a new high, but PPO is lower, RSI is lower. You can see how very nicely it's making higher highs, but on lower momentum. So that's a sign of danger, and you got to be careful here, okay? So let's look at 1 hour chart and see if there is anything else we need to be worried about. You can see we just made Friday at 11 o'clock a new high. Even in shorter time frame, there are divergences developing, okay? You can see new high with PPO is going lower, okay? Big divergence here. RSI also has a big divergence in shorter time frame, okay? So just be careful if you want to trade 1 hour chart. What you can do is you can draw a trend line from here. You can draw something like this trend line and wait for at least a test of this trend line to buy here around 28,000. So that's how you can trade this, okay? And let's go to daily chart, and you can see on daily chart we are again right against this big resistance around 31k resistance. I kept it here. You can see we are still in this big resistance zone, so we haven't clearly cleaned it. That's around 32,000, the whole box. But you can see what happened here. If you're a bull, the good news is you can see this drop here from the top here to the bottom here around 20%. Bitcoin can just go straight up. So from 32,000 to here to this resistance, 20% up, Bitcoin can just shoot up higher. Okay, so this whole box, which is like not a lot of trading here, so whenever that happens, Bitcoin just likes to go straight up. So it's quite possible Bitcoin can do that. So you can see this straight down here, and it went straight up here, right? So same thing here. And let's quickly look at Bitcoin futures to see if we can get any clues. I think there is a gap there. You can see, yeah, there you go. There's a gap here around 35k. So let me draw a line here. It is possible Bitcoin later on this summer can go push it to up at least that high. You can see I have this gap mark here. So that will be also possible. That could be a price target Bitcoin could be looking for. So it's quite possible now Bitcoin can try to go. Basically, let me clear this. So now we are getting this pump. Bitcoin can what Bitcoin can ideally do. Let's draw a trend line here, like I showed. This is a future chart, so I don't have a trend line here, so I have to make a new trend line. So you can make a trend line like this, okay, something like this. We need to have few touches of that trend line, so give me a second. So something like this, and yeah, something like this, okay. And then what you can expect Bitcoin is to from here futures come back test a little bit on this trend line and try to make another attempt to fill this gap and then come lower, right? So that's quite possible as well. So that's my ideal scenario, but also you can see same thing on futures. Also this gap on a trend line. One other thing I want to show you on the longer term chart on Bitcoin, if you go to weekly chart, you can see there's weekly chart. We have a new high, and also now if I zoom in this PPO, you can see we still haven't crossed it. So we haven't crossed PPO yet. So red line did not cross green line. I want to see green line going higher. Still did not happen. I did get a RSI showing a green dot, so we still have 1 day left. So if we don't get any dump tomorrow, which is Sunday, it will stay green. You can see what happened here when we got red dot dump. Again, before here, red dot dump. When we get green dot, it's possible we can go for a couple of days up. Here also green dot, but I don't want to see a green dot right away followed by a red dot. You can see here we got a green dot. You can see green dot here in this area, and then we got massive pump, and then we got a red dot. So let's wait and see how tomorrow goes, and if it stays green dot, then it's a good sign, at least for the short term. So that's on Bitcoin. And Ethereum, same thing, it's just following Bitcoin. Ethereum is a bit weaker, but the good thing on Ethereum, it's back on this trend line. You can see this white trend line. It's back on this trend. Actually, you can see very nicely it came to this buy zone around 1700 and it bounced right away. So very good sign. But now it's in this big dangerous red zone, sell zone. Okay. Also, if it crosses above it, right above around 2000, there's another big resistance here on Ethereum. You can see this whole area. This is a big resistance here. So it's not going to be easy for Ethereum to close. But the good news is it's on this trend line. And let's see on 1 hour chart, do we see any changes? You can see same thing. Ethereum made a new high on short term, but with huge divergence on PPO and RSI. You can see the momentum is very, very low. So you got to be careful on Ethereum as well. Okay. So short term things are looking good, but again, anytime if it Ethereum, especially if it goes below trend line, you should be looking to sell. Okay. And let's see how far Bitcoin can go. Ethereum will go along with that. All right. Okay, guys. Let's quickly look at Ethereum futures and see if there's any gaps here. Let's quickly see. There's a gap here around 2636. So just be mindful of that. These gap will be filled. I just don't know when. I don't know if it's going to fill now. It's going to fill at a later date. But just remember, if you're a bull, the good news is from here to this gap, this is around 38% upside. Okay, so this gap will sometime be filled in the future. I don't know when, but there's also a gap at the bottom. Where did it go? Let's see. Yeah, this gap here, you can see this huge gap. There's also a gap here. So at top, it's 30 to 38% up, and then at the bottom, it's 25% down. So you make a decision if it's going to go first to fill this gap, then go higher, or it's going to go first fill this gap and then go lower. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for crypto. If you're here, please hit the like button on your way out. I'm going to go with broader indices and have a good weekend. All right. So let's go to MES chart. So this is S&P 500. So I'm looking for a little bit more selling in the shorter time frame. S&P is doing exactly what I'm expecting. So maybe we'll get a little bit of bounce, and then I need a little bit more selling, and then we try to go for another new all-time high, and then we go for bottom. Okay, looking for another little bit of selling next week, and that should do it. Okay, that's what I'm looking for on S&P 500. And let's go to SPY. This is SPY, and if I go to 1 hour chart, let's see if there's any gap. Yes, there's another gap created on Friday session. So there's another gap here now. Okay, so 3 gaps, and there's also a big gap here. So okay, this one again, I need to adjust this trend line. I don't know what's up with TradingView. It keeps changing my trend line. So now let's quickly see. Green lines bottom are the gaps at the bottom, and yellow lines top are the gaps at the top. So I have to adjust these because I think dividends came and then everything messed up after that. But anyhow, let's see quickly here. Also, I think there's a gap. Quickly zoom in and see. SPY. Yeah, this gap here as well. So multiple gaps to the downside. But let's see. Okay, let's just focus here for now. So from the top here, where we are to the gap, let's see, from here to the gap, it's around 2%, 2.5%. It is possible, but I'm not looking for that far of a gap to fill. This is weird. So something really messed up happened on here, because now my gaps are really messed up. So anyhow, I will focus. I'll try to figure this out offline. But anyhow, looks like so anyhow, so it's going to be in the buy zone. So next week. So from here, looking for a little bit more selling. So around 1% more selling. So around 429, around 4,300, 430. That will be, you should be looking to start buying that dip. Okay. So looking for a dip a little bit more next week. Buy it and looking for new all-time high, and then eventually going lower. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking on S&P 500 and on triple Qs. Triple Qs, I'm not bullish at all on tech sector, and I'm thinking it's probably the top is in. So looking for a little bit more selling. There's this trend line, so that will be a good area to buy. I don't know if we're gonna go as far as that, but you can see we broke this trend line on a shorter time frame. And if I go to 1 hour chart, you can see we have divergences on 1 hour chart, and now we're going lower. And I'm looking for a little bit more lower prices, so it can maybe fill this trend line and bounce, or it can go all the way here. That will be ideal area. I'd say there's a gap here, and then bounce, and then eventually fill. So we might have already seen the top. Let's see, we can get a little bit more selling, then we'll try for another attempt to maybe equal highs or a little bit more higher, and then eventually looking for a drop. So that's on triple Qs. Dow Jones again in the buy zone now, so you should be looking to buy Dow Jones as soon as next week, and then I'm looking for a new high. Okay, so from today's close, if we draw percentage DIA ETF, new high could be at least 3-4% up. Dow Jones is in this trading range for like the freaking since 2015, and you can see this whole range here. Dow Jones did not do nothing. Okay, it's just been in this range, so I think it could be an explosive move. But again, I think time is running out for Dow Jones, looking for equal or higher high, and then eventually going lower with S&P 500. IWM is looking very, very interesting. It's in the buy zone. So just remember there's another gap here, 175. I don't know if we're going to go all the way to fill this gap, but if we do, that will be awesome opportunity to 2.7%. But it's in the buy zone, so you should be looking to buy IWM, looking for a new high basically later this summer on IWM. So that covers these. Gold is in the buy zone, so I'm slowly accumulating all the gold miners. I told you I bought GDXJ, GDXU is very, very dangerous if you can hold. It is leverage, 3x leverage with DK. So just use it for short term. You can use it for a week or 2 week, but do not use it for like an investment opportunity. Okay. So GDX, I'm looking for a bounce. You can see the support here. Now we're broken. Basically, this one I need to adjust slightly, make something like this. Okay, so it's right on support. You can see support, and now back on support, and right on the trend line. And also you can see what's happening, making a new low with divergence on PP and RSI. So that is a very, very good sign. So I'm looking to accumulate GDX. Actually, it's already started accumulating GDS, gold and gold miners, and looking very, very good from me. So let's keep moving. XIC is Canadian ETF, basically looking very good as well. There's a gap here, slight here around 30.96, but looking for this bottom to form very, very soon, and then a pump to equal highs on this Canadian sector ETF. Mainly it's looking for around 6% upside. Mainly it's full of banks, oil and oil, energy, and gold. So all of them are really down, but this is a good time to buy. And the dollar is pumping. That's why gold is it was up high in the morning and then went down a bit. But looking for this pump to fail, looking for lower prices in dollar. Silver will trade with gold. Silver is also in the buy zone. Actually, it's in the perfect buy zone, so look to buy silver. And crude oil was flat. Again, you can see it's just chopping between buy zone and sell zone. So you can see this is a sell zone, this is a buy zone, just in the middle, looking for lower prices. Natural gas bottom is in. You can see the bottom was here a couple of days ago. Now it's just going higher. So everything is good on crude oil. It's by the dip. So basically looking to go higher. You can draw a trend line on crude oil, natural gas. Trend line like this, and any dips to buy off this trend line. Okay, Let's make it better here. All right. Copper is good. At least finally we got some selling. Very good. So we just above my buy zone. Maybe a little bit more selling next week. That will be the bottom. Okay. CPER is the ETF. You can look to buy copper. You can see this big gap down. It should be up later on. Palladium, again, it's in this wedge going lower. But let's see if you can draw a wedge in a different way, or let's see. Oops, sorry. This trading view is like doing crazy things these days. You can even draw a wedge like this. Okay, you can see how nicely we can draw a wedge. So it's just in this bullish wedge. This is similar to wheat. You can see wheat. You can see wedge here. You can see it can stay in this wedge for a while and then eventually break out. Something like this. Okay, so wedge, and then you can see divergence on PPO and RSI. So very good time to buy palladium. No buy signal yet. Really, the buy signal will be a break of this above line, white line, but things are looking good. Okay, going higher on this momentum, and eventually wait for this breakout if you want to buy palladium. All right. So let me fix this. Wheat, I already covered wheat. So you can see very nice trade. Since if you guys are watching my channel, you guys know wheat is already above 30%. So I told you yesterday, this is a trend line. Wait for pullbacks, buy on this trend line and go higher. Wheat is looking really good. And if you want to draw some Fibonacci retracements for an ideal zone to buy, you can buy between this zone. Okay, actually right where the trend line is. That will be a good area to buy wheat. So just to be clear, you can buy somewhere here. Okay, this is the area you should be looking to buy wheat. Let's go corn. Corn was down, coming very close to the buy zone. Very good sign. Draw a trend line like this, something like this. Okay, actually something like this. Yeah, very close to the trend line support, but look to buy. Very good time. Corn is the ETF. Soybeans, not that much dump yet, but this is the box here if I really want to buy. Sugar, let's see. Sugar is not looking good. Actually, it's now changing a trend. Short term, it made a lower high. Now looking for equal high or lower high, but there's a trend line here. You can see if corn will come right on this trend line, or let's see, sorry, sugar will come right on this trend line. That will be a good area to buy. Very close to this trend line, so keep an eye on this sugar. Let's see, cane is the ETF you can look to buy. Bonds flat, looking for equal high or lower high, and then a bounce. And let's quickly look at all the sectors. XLE, looking for lower prices. There's a big gap here around $70, $71. That's my target. XLU, XLU is on this trend line. Actually, this trend line is messed up again. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to do some adjustments on trading views. I think they updated software, so after that everything is messed up. But anyhow, I will figure it out probably after this video. So let's keep it like this. Okay, let me keep it like this. Not adjusted for dividends. They did all these ETF gave dividends. So now it's creating a mess in all my settings. Anyhow, XLV is the healthcare, looking very good. So again on this trend line, very nice trend line. And again, this one is also messed up, but it's okay. We can fix it. You can see draw a trend line like that. Something like this. Okay. So healthcare is looking good. Industrials looking for a little bit more weakness than a pump. So looking for, actually I have to adjust this, made a new high. So let's make a new buy zone box, very close to the buy zone. This is the buy zone. So looking for industrials to, just remember there's a gap here. I don't know if it's going to come as far as that, but eventually, actually let's go look at 1 hour chart. Yeah, there's another gap created here. Another gap here. So let's make it yellow. XLV, no gaps. XLU, this gap already here, so we can adjust it. And XLE, yeah, everything is messed up, so I have to adjust all these settings again. And XLF is financial. Okay, and financials also have a gap here, another gap here, multiple gaps on financials. And real estate sector, XLRE, also there are gaps here. So anyhow, just remember there are multiple gaps. So XLRE is in the buy zone on this trend line, so very good time to buy. And XLF is again this gap here around 31.97, very coming very close to the gap, also on this trend line. So things are looking good on XLF as well. So again, I have to adjust this as well. So yeah, so look to buy. And let's quickly look at some tech sector stocks. Tesla down 3%, not a surprise. And you can see a gap here. At minimum, I think it wants to come fill this gap at 235. So from today's close to that gap, first gap is around 8% almost. Okay, so I think it's going to come back. And you can see what's happening. Made a new high on divergences. You can see PPO made a new lower high and RSI made a lower high. So now we're dumping. So all these gaps, most of the gaps should be filled. You can see all the gaps to the downside. Okay, so be careful on Tesla. Apple was flat. Again, same story. Let's see on 1 hour chart, did we fill this gap? Yeah, looks like we did fill this gap. You can see how nicely these stocks like to fill the gaps. So this gap is filled. Looking for lower prices on Apple. Google 0.69% down, but again there's a massive gap here around 113. Looking for these gaps to fill. Let's go to 1 hour chart because this gaps looks okay. Yeah, it is here. So yeah, looking for lower prices on Google. Microsoft again down. You can see. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Did it fill this gap? It did fill this gap. You can see how nicely. Oh no, it did not. So this came very close to filling this gap and then dumped. But you can see actually no divergence on PPO on 1 hour chart on Microsoft. So this chart is okay. But the question is all these gaps, so many gaps, eventually they will be filled. Okay. Meta again holding this white trend line. Now it's the whole trend line is messed up, so I have to fix it. Trading view messed everything up. So something like this. You can draw some trend line like this, maybe like this. Yeah. Okay. So draw some trend line like this, and make sure it's a log. Okay, now I know why it did not work out. So guys, give me a second. I have to make a log here. No, okay, now it should be okay. So here is the trend line and it's still holding this trend line, Meta, very nicely. If I go to 1 hour chart, there's this gap, I think, still did not fill this gap, but that's okay. Doesn't have to fill. You can see Meta is going higher on a lower momentum on PP and RSI, looking for multiple gaps to fill to the downside. Amazon made a new high with divergences. You can see how many gaps are there to the downside. Netflix, you can see on the trend line at minimum looking for this test of this trend line. So that's around, also there's a gap here around 380, looking for that pullback. Snowflake's flat, but again there's a massive gap here around 136, so looking for lower prices. NVDA down almost 2%, looking for this guy is running at more than 200 times earnings estimate. So this is just like this is going to be a big dump whenever that happens, and you won't be able to see it. It's going to be a very quick dump. Okay, so be very careful on NVIDIA. No way you want to buy NVIDIA here. Okay, be very careful. AMD fill this gap very nicely. You can see this gap was there. Now I clear this, but now there are no gaps to the downside. If I draw a fib retracement from here, I think it's in the buy zone, so you can look to buy short term. But I'm staying away from tech sector because I think there are better opportunities in other sector. Okay, but it's in the buy zone. Okay, guys, that's it. If you're still here on your way out, please hit the like button. I wish you guys great rest of the weekend and have a great rest of the day. Bye.